So the news this week, the updates personally, is Alyssa saw Materialists.
Yes, I did.
I work
Um,
at Alamo Draft House, so I have not seen it, but I've seen many clips. And let me just say really quickly that I was very excited for this movie because it looked like it
mhm.
was like the first good old rom-com in like a long time.
Yeah, it
And
was a good rom-com.
and okay, good. And then I worked it and I saw some scenes and I was like, I don't think I need to see this. I don't think I need to like
Yeah.
carve time out of my schedule to see this since I caught most of it. Um, um,
But there is kind of this whole second story that I thought was more interesting, but I don't want to spoil it for you because it's
is it
not the
about
rom.
the sexual assault?
Yes,
Which
yes.
I was like, of course. At first, I was like, of course they have to touch on this, you know. But I was
Yeah.
honestly, and then there was a article that came out in like I don't know if it was like the New York Times or like Allure or something
Hmm.
about an actual like New York City matchmaker who
Hmm.
like breaks down like the realisticness of the movie, and she says that that doesn't really happen, which is hard to believe because the way that the boss described it, where I
Hmm.
was like, she's like, oh, it's dating. Like, it's a risk. Like, how are we supposed to know? I was
And
like, honestly, yeah.
that's believable. That's what it is like in the real world. Like you can get on dating apps and you don't have to have a background check.
Yeah.
Like you don't like Bumble doesn't know if you have a criminal record or not.
Right?
But it seems like with that service, because it's humans and not like a robot or algorithm fact checking yourself, that it wouldn't fall through the cracks as often. But I was really intrigued by that storyline. I thought that actress, the woman who was assaulted, was
So,
so good, such a good
yeah.
actress. And it was just, I feel like it was kind of misplaced in the movie. Like I felt like there's such this interesting sexual assault happening in the dating world story and how that weighs on Dakota Johnson's character.
Yeah.
And then her love triangle is kind of separate. Like it felt kind of like a hard puzzle piece to like put them
Yeah. They
together.
like really, like, I know
It really kind of,
she
mhm.
called Chris Evans about it. And it's just like, but it is, yeah, it was like, that's kind of how I felt is it was like two
Yeah.
very different storylines that they were like trying to make fit together. And like and I feel like that's what frustrated me was it's like why did we like it's a good storyline, it's relatable, it's a topic that needs to be addressed, but like why
Hmm.
do we have to like stick things where they don't belong just to be like woke?
Yeah. It just wasn't woven together in a way that felt natural or like there was a better outcome. I don't know, but I did think it was really interesting to see. Like, I almost wish I felt like there was like a bottle episode of it. Or do you remember when Amazon had a show where they serialized a bunch of modern love columns? Like, I feel like it could have
No.
been an episode of that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I was kind of surprised by myself because I was shocked when Dakota Johnson's boss was like, "Oh, your client was assaulted." I was like, "Whoa!" But then I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, no shit, that's gonna happen." And it's
Yeah,
grim and it's dark, but it's very realistic.
it is. And yeah, 'cause she's like it's dating. And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, fuck you." Cuz like I reacted in my head pretty much the same way as Dakota Johnson did, but then she was
Hmm.
like, "It's dating." And I was like, "Well, you fucking got me there. It sure like
Yeah.
is. It's dating. That is. You're right." Like,
You're correct.
and you can't vouch for them. And I was like, "Oh my God." It was a really interesting. Like, I am glad that they touched upon it,
Hmm.
but it was just kind of like
It was forced.
forced. Yeah.
But it's like it's weird because it's like I was into it, but I was like, not sure if I would have done it. But I do think Celine Song is a great director. Um, she just did Past Lives, and that was
Right. Right. And everyone at Alamo, because a bunch of people who work at Alamo, of course, are like cinephiles. So like
hmm.
people were so pumped to see Materialists. They were so excited. I also really did enjoy the angle how they were like how Dakota Johnson's character was like, I'm not like equipped to be this. She's like, I'm not a therapist, but
Yeah.
tell more things to their matchmaker than they tell their therapist. And she's like, how? And I was like, that is like
Yeah.
another layer that like I never would have thought of. But like, yeah, if you go through it and they're like listing off, he was like, she's fat and in her 40s when she's
Yeah.
like, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what? No, she's not.
So
Like,
brutal.
it is. And people are just like really being super honest, and you just have to like be like,
Being
okay.
so honest, and you can't be like, I'm never gonna find someone for you because you're fat phobic, you hate women,
Yeah,
you're shallow. And it's like you're also ugly. So like who the fuck are you to think you're gonna get a hot model? Like
seriously.
get real.
Yeah, I was just like, oh wow. Because that was a really interesting angle where I was just like, oh my God, that's like all so accurate and true.
But at the same time, if I had a matchmaker, I'd be like,
I'd probably be specific too.
yeah,
Like,
I want the tall man with a stable job and a good income. He has to be handsome. He has to be funny. He has to be kind. Like, I don't want to budge on those things. He has to have political views that align with mine because I'm not trying to beef every election. And
ain't
like,
that the
that's
truth?
important to people.
Yeah,
But then it's
okay.
like, I know I'm gonna have to compromise in a relationship, and that's kind of fucking annoying.
I mean, like that is definitely part of relationships, but there's some things that you definitely should not compromise on. You know, when she finds out, Dakota Johnson finds out that Mark P sexually assaults Sophie, and she like runs to the bathroom
Hmm.
and looks at her notes.
Hmm.
It's the matchmaker, like the real life matchmaker specifically, was like those notes were nothing. She was like she barely knows the client. Like of
Yeah.
course, like this went down because like she has, and I was like, oh, she's like there's no religious views, there's no thoughts on like
Hmm.
what on like this and that, and I'm like, oh damn, okay, because like it really is just like tall, not that good looking, 48, looks
Yeah, her whole thing
older.
was like running a fact sheet on them.
Yeah, and I
It's like
was
running a fact sheet on them, but it's like you do have to give a vibe check. Like
yeah.
even if it's like tense, awkward presence, like that's I think important to note. Or like shy at first, but then opens up. Like
Mhm.
things like that, or like too cocky. Like that's what I wish I could know before going into a date. Because sometimes going into a date, I'm like, if I get there and the person's more introverted, I'm a little like, oh,
Yeah, because then
you
you kind of
know?
have to, yeah. Um,
We're all out here avoiding losers. That's
yeah.
just that's just the end of it.
Hmm.
But then it's also like if a matchmaker sets you up with someone who's such a like, look at your kitty, who's
Yes.
such a
My sweet lady.
who's like such a fucking dork or just something that's like egregiously makes you want to like run away, I'd be so offended. I'd be like, I know you're also trying to set him up and do your job, but what the hell?
I
Like,
know.
what?
Like, why you gotta pawn this loser off
Why?
on me?
Or someone
Yeah.
who's like Mark Zuckerberg. Like, I don't care that you're a billionaire. You're a fucking
He looks
pasty
like
ass,
he looks like a toe.
selfish dork. He's a literal toe.
He looks like a tadpole. Yeah, no.
I always think about that
Like,
picture of him with all the sunscreen on his face.
yeah, that's
And
funny.
it's like, I don't,
Jesse Eisenberg is so much cuter than he is. And that's saying a lot, I
yeah, because
feel.
he really hit the nail on the head with being Mark Zuckerberg
Yeah.
in the social network, which is
Yeah.
like a compliment or no, I don't know.
I
Compliment
think,
for his acting skills, but don't be that loser.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at. What would you, I mean, did you, when you have this like list in your head of your dream man,
So
does
actually,
Zach,
that's funny. Is there
mhm,
were like a few things, especially like when I was like before I met Zach, when I was like 21, and
hmm,
like I thought I was, wasted losing time. Um,
yeah,
I was like, I always thought I had a really specific type in my head. I was
hmm,
like, I used to always say that my type is like a Seth Rogen, but I'm probably gonna
uh,
end up with like a Chad.
love him. Love Seth Rogen
Me too.
deeply. Catch and a half.
Yeah, 100%. And I was just like a little bit burlier, like
Hmm.
bigger guy. But I thought I was gonna end up with like a lame, just like conquered Chad, honestly. Um, and so, and then when I met Zach, everyone was like, "This is exactly what we expected for you." which is like a shaggy skater stoner. But beforehand, I was like, there was like I had a few non-negotiables. One of them was like he doesn't have to have the same humor as me, but like I would say good humor and a humor that complements mine, which Zach does. And then I was like, he doesn't need to go to the gym, but he can't like get in the way of me going to the gym or like working out because I'm so
Right.
easily deterred and working out is like very good. It's like really helps me stay on track of like my mental health and like all that.
I
It's
was
like
gonna say
more
it's
than
such
just
a
like
good.
being
Mhm.
skinny. So like I was like, and he is very supportive. Sometimes he goes to the gym with me, not always. We go on lots of walks together.
Mhm.
Um, and then I was like, I need someone who smokes weed because even if I had someone who didn't smoke weed but was like okay with someone who's smoking weed, I was
You
like,
don't
I
want to
would
feel judged.
exactly. I was like,
Mhm.
I'm just when I get too stoned, you're just gonna get like annoyed all the
Yeah.
time. Um, so it's so much easier for someone to like either also be stoned or just like get
Mhm.
it. So that's and Zach checked off all those.
Whoa, those are huge. Those are good ones.
Yeah, those were, and that was me at 22. Right now, if I was single, I would probably be looking for somebody, with a stable job,
Mhm.
stability, good family, or like
Mhm.
close to their family, or like wants to have a family or something.
Yeah.
Um, again, with the good humor, and then
Finding a good sense of humor and then one that you also jive with can be so hard.
it can be, yeah,
Because it's like, if you can't riff with me, what do we have?
right.
Like,
A whole relationship. That's all. That's it. Relationships are just
yeah.
ripping.
It's like, I want to be 80 and you're still making me laugh.
100%. That is the cutest and best way I think I can sum up like
Hmm.
any like ideal relationship in my head is just like just being able to giggle together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is
Otherwise, it's like, I just can't imagine dating a guy who's not funny. Like, and it's also like, I don't want to laugh at you. I want to laugh with
with
you.
you. Yeah, I want you to
Yeah.
be like involved.
I want you to be quick. I want you to be
Yeah. Yeah,
up with the program.
for sure. Like witty. That's for yeah. Someone who's and to be that kind of funny, you need to be smart
Yeah.
or at
Yeah.
least have some wits about you. That's
Right.
for sure. Like I am not the sharpest tool in the shed, and I will never claim to be. But I don't want to date someone. I didn't. I don't want to date someone stupid, but I also don't want to date someone who's like smarter than me than a point that like I feel dumb all the time.
Yeah. Like, you don't want to date someone who's smart and condescending.
Do you remember Will from MIT
No.
that I used to hook up with in college? And he
I've
smoked a
probably
lot of
heard of
weed.
him.
You definitely, yeah.
Probably.
But he was very, 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 very smart and like never
Hmm.
made anyone feel less than. And he was
Oh,
able
good.
to hang.
Yeah.
He lived in like a frat house in Kenmore Square, and he was like
Yeah.
an MIT frat house, and he would like write an equation, a daily equation that everyone in the house would try and solve.
Jesus Christ.
And so like we would
Would he make up these equations?
yeah. He was like
Oh,
that fucking smart.
what
And
the fuck?
we'd be blazing and someone would come in and be like, I think I got it. And he'd look at it and be like, oh, no, you're close. You just got to just think about like this a little more. And then the person would leave and I'd be like, what the fuck?
And were they like math problems? Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
It was like very
Ooh.
like Goodwill Hunting.
That's very like scary smart. Like,
Yeah.
if
And
you're,
I was like, I can't relate to this in the least. And he never made me feel lesser than, but I was always
Mhm.
like, I just feel like I would have to like constantly be reading dictionaries.
Yeah, I feel like even if someone's not condescending about it, there's a pressure to like keep up. And it's like, but I'm not going to teach myself physics.
Yeah.
It would
Like,
be cool. Or there's also something about it where it's like, if you're so smart, and even if you're normal but smart, the fact that you have the ability to like go in our garage and like make some like fucked up machine or like a bomb or something, like, what if you use your powers for evil?
that's
Like,
so
it's
fair.
like you don't want to be with someone who's too smart like that, like too much of a scientist.
Yeah, because then they could turn. Oh my God, that's a really good point.
Yeah, like if you have a turn where it's like, oh, he's no longer like building little NASCAR racetrack things for fun and physics. He's building a
He
pipe
got bored
bomb.
and now he's doing something for evil.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow, that's an interesting, yeah, that's an interesting point.
Yikesies.
That's not what you want. That is not what you want. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
A mad scientist just you've accidentally fallen in love with.
Are there any mad scientists in the world? Like, I'm sure.
Elon Musk feels like a mad scientist. Nathan Fielder, I think, is a mad scientist.
Nathan Fielder,
Is
it's so funny you said Elon
a
Musk
mad
because I feel like
scientist.
he's you're right. He is a mad scientist. We are doing a food truck event this weekend and
Hmm.
we're doing our special is birthday cake just for like a
Ooh.
random reason. And so
Hmm.
Zach was like, "Oh, like let me Google to see if there's like any famous people who have birthdays on this day, so we could be like, LOL." And it's Elon Musk's birthday. Ew.
That would
I was like,
attract such a shitty
we're not gonna
crowd.
use that one. We're not gonna use that one. But yeah, I would say that
Yikes.
he's a mad scientist. Yeah, I could say see Nathan Fielder being a little mad scientisty.
I mean, on the rehearsal, all he does is just fuck with people's lives and do all these trial and errors. And he learned how to fly a plane in the latest season of the rehearsal.
So insane.
Just
I'm still so shook
like,
by the fact that he's like planes. He's like, I want to make it about planes this season. And I'm just like, he's teaching us something.
it's
He's
kind of
learning
crazy
like
because
it,
he's so smart.
he's so smart.
He's so smart. He'll pick like some random niche corner, but then he'll like drag people into it and make it everyone else's
Yeah,
problem.
that is true. Well, in the last season of the rehearsal, he stepped up. Remember? Yeah,
To
he had
be
to.
to be that kid's dad,
Yeah,
the dad that stepped up. That was so dark to watch.
that
This
was
little
really
kid,
wild, actually.
dude, this little kid who didn't have a dad becomes so emotionally attached to Nathan Fielder because Nathan Fielder becomes his like on TV on set dad. And then when it's over, instead of learning that the kid is too emotionally attached and, letting him not get attached and moving on, he continues to like build this relationship with him and be like, "No, I'm not your dad, but like not enough."
Yeah,
And that was weird. That was
Nathan
hard to
Fielder.
watch. That
Yeah,
was where I was like, your powers have been flipped for evil.
that is a little mad scientisty. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe we should do a segment where we bring in new mad scientists to the conversation every week.
We should find someone who like either dated or is married to a scientist and then they learned the ethics of their projects or work or whatever and was like, "Oh my God, goodbye."
I was like, this is bad.
We
Yeah.
should find Florence Pugh when she dated Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Let's
Ugh.
call her up and be like, I know this you didn't experience it firsthand, but close enough and you're all we got.
Yeah. Florence
So
Pugh, you're all we got.
so tell us, please.
Tell us, please, what was it like dating a fucking smartass, scary man?
Okay. Yeah. So I'm definitely gonna think about anyone I know that's dating a
A
scientist.
mad scientist?
I will say I do have a friend who is insanely smart and he
Mhm.
for fun is teaching himself quantum physics on the weekend.
Okay.
So
What does
like
that involve? Just reading about it and
I think
memorizing what
so.
it, because you
He's just like,
can't.
yeah, I just don't know enough about it. And so I'll be like, we'll be like, do you want to hang out? And his wife is like, yeah, but he's studying for nothing, for nothing. I mean,
That's
like
what's
it's
crazy.
cool.
It's like, it's very cool, but it's like, oh, you're gonna blow off plans to
He's got
do
things
what?
to learn.
Like create an atom bomb? Like, I
That's
don't.
what I thought too. That's immediately was I was just like,
Like, what if you like
oh.
make a black hole in your microwave or something?
Would you go
Like,
in it if you created a black hole?
maybe. I would maybe see what happens if I like put my hand in it, you know?
Yeah, that's what I would think I would do. I would throw something in it
Yeah, throw something in it first,
first and
see
then
what
see what
happens.
happens. And then my hand hopefully doesn't suck me in. But
Yeah,
if it does, it does, I guess.
it'd be a cool way to go. I think you get like pulled into like I think you become like a spaghetti string almost. Like you just get like
Oh my God.
there's a fly. I'm
And that's
pretty
how
sure.
and then you die.
Yeah. Well, there's a theory that Earth and our galaxy, maybe universe, is technically in a black hole. That's like a
Okay.
relatively new theory that I saw in like an infographic on Instagram. So I don't really know how
Like
to
we're at the end of
expand.
a black hole, or like we're in like
No, like we're in one because it's like the I guess like the way our universe is expanding, there's like someone theorizing that the Big Bang is more so the creation of this black hole within another universe.
Jesus. That's heavy.
Yeah, I don't really know how to expand upon it more than that.
We'll look into it, but that I
This is
was
why
just
we
like,
need to
oh
get
my god.
experts on the pod.
Yeah, 100%.
Explain it to us like we're stupid. I
Yeah,
can't rely on my knowledge just from seeing something once on Instagram.
that would be so wild. I think I don't even really know what that would entail if we were in a black hole and like, but like
I
we're
don't
doing
either.
fine so far. So
There's some like things about the universe that I'm so curious about, but then there's other things where I'm like, if that is what it is, that doesn't affect me.
right,
Like, it'd be nice to know. Who cares?
I'll be dead soon.
I'll be dead soon. I also kind of really believe we're living in a simulation
Yeah,
of some
that's
sort.
what Zach really
And there's something that's kind of
believes.
comforting thinking we're living in a simulation.
There's something lately I've been really I've been noticing, and this is very comforting to feel. Where
Hmm.
like it was like the other day, like I had a thought for like the first time, not the first time, but like this thought popped into my head for the first time, my first thought ever. Where I said something being like I thought was thinking to myself where I was like, oh, I should have like done this or like gone to school for this, and then I literally was like, oh, next lifetime, and I was like,
Yeah. I think about that too. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, in another lifetime I did.
yeah,
Whatever.
I'll be like, you know what, next time I'll start over and do this, like I'll
Yeah. It
and
just
so
feels it's like kind of like a good band-aid to put over scary thoughts.
100%.
Just to be like, oh, I'll get him next time.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like when I die it'll all come back. Like, I'm like when my sweet baby noodle lady girl right here, my kitty,
Yeah.
when she dies, she's just gonna come back to me in a different form.
Oh my
Just right.
God. My cat better come back to me in a different form.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that kitty.
Noodle, look at the camera.
What up, Noodle? That's a beautiful cat.
My
Oh,
sweet
look at that
baby girl.
face.
Hazelnut. Say
I love
hi.
cats so much. That's another thing that I would have to tell the materialist. No dogs. I
Yeah.
can't deal with dogs. I don't want to date someone that's going to bring
Too
a
high
big
energy.
ass,
I'm too overwhelmed.
slobbery, barking dog into my life.
Yeah.
And I
Definitely.
don't care if that's being materialistic. Get the dog the fuck away from me and my lifestyle.
Totally fine.
Yeah. Look at that little lady.
Yeah, it's just sweet. I have another one over here at the end of the bed, and then Waffles is probably with Zach. Zach?
I love how you summon him.
I do summon him. That's so funny. I summon everyone.
At
Uh,
your wedding, there would be moments where I'd be talking to either you or Zach, and then all of a sudden, Zach would be like, Mary? Mary? And he'd have to like go run and find you for something. And you'd be like, wait, where's Zach? Where? Like, you would keep getting separated, but then you'd be like, wait, I need the other one.
yeah. Yeah, halfway through my wedding, I'd be like, shouldn't I have my husband with me? Okay, so let's talk about Jojo Siwa, a really important topic.
A really important topic. She's getting a lot of
Hate.
biphobia.
A lot of, I think, I don't know. So I am a Jojo Siwa stan.
Okay. Did you watch Dance Moms?
Not enough, truly.
Yeah.
I was like aware of it. I actually remember the first time I ever heard of JoJo Siwa was when she
Hmm.
babysat Northwest. And I was like, who the
Oh,
fuck is this?
yeah.
I was like, this bitch looks like she walked right out of my mind and she's babysitting Northwest. Who is
Hmm.
she? So I was like, oh,
Hmm.
she's a dance mom. Okay, okay, cool, cool, cool. Big bows, kind of cringy. That's her thing, whatever.
She's
And then
like kind of like ran into a Claire's and put a bunch of shit on her and then ran
yeah,
out.
like sneezed into Claire's and it just like
Yeah.
all exactly. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then she went on Special Forces
Mm-hmm.
last year, 2 years ago, 2 years ago. Um, and that was also the season that Tom Sandoval was on. So
Yeah,
I
because
was
those were
like,
the only clips I saw of Special Forces. She would lift grown ass 40-year-old man Tom Sandoval over her shoulder like it
yep,
was nothing
like
and
it was
carry
nothing.
him
She
through
did it
the
because Nick
mountains.
all got tired.
Oh my God. I hate them so much. Leave it to Jojo Siwa, though, to be like, I'll save the day.
Yeah,
And
she's
she
like,
did.
right. It was just like wild because I was like, because like the whole thing about special forces is that you're like doing special forces training like you would if you were going to be in the special forces, which is like the
A
elite. They call you
Marine.
in what? Yeah, they call you in and like the highest, like the highest top secret situations when something
Mm-hmm.
gets bad. I feel like they were, they rescued
Yeah,
Captain Phillips in my mind from the Somalian pirates. So I'm like, all
I
right,
see,
these
I
are some really
see.
intense people. Um,
Yeah.
and they bring you in, they're trying to break you down and like really show you what it's like. And Jojo Siwa came in, she was like, I wanted to do this. No one wanted me to because my whole life I've been wrapped in like a bubble, and
Mm-hmm.
I was just like I saw a completely different side of her. I was like, wow, this bitch is actually like very aware of like who she is and like what she's got going on. Um, and then she went on Call Her Daddy, where
Mm-hmm.
Alex Cooper was like, I thought you were gonna be like mentally malnourished, and
Jesus.
Jojo Siwa was like, yeah, everyone does. She's like, but I'm running the show. I know exactly what's happening. She's like, she's like, I've been running my business pretty much since the beginning. And
Yeah.
she's just grown up as like the child star. And now she's having her bangers moment and people are like, whoa. But it's not even to the extent that Miley Cyrus did.
I don't think it's to the extent that Miley Cyrus did ever, because Miley Cyrus feels like a genuine come out of this is who I am. Fuck you. I'm ditching my child star shit that I was forced to do. I'm running around.
Yeah.
There's something about JoJo Siwa doing it that feels orchestrated in a way that's like, oh, now I'm gonna have my crazy breakout, whatever thing going on. Like her drinking on stage, which I think she's later said was fake. And like there was some I saw some clip of her where she was like, I'm the first person in music to do this or something, like making that switch to being more edgy. So there's something about her that, yes, she's very young, so of course she's naive, but I think my confusion about her is like, okay, she's this badass simply for just surviving Dance Moms because that is such like a grim toxic environment. So I'm like that's fucking cool. She has like really incredible athletic strength doing all these one dancing but then the special forces carrying Tom Sandoval. She's clearly very smart, but then there's something about her having this naivety about who she is as this like rock star not really that
Yeah.
seems almost like she's openly saying I'm orchestrating this. I don't know. Like that part's very confusing to me about like
She
what
does.
she's
She
doing with her
always loves
identity right now.
she always loves to say she's like, I don't consider myself a musician or a dancer. She's like, I consider myself a performer and an entertainer, which
Okay,
is
that makes sense.
which
That
is
makes
like
sense.
very much where I was like, okay, bet. But yeah, and
Mhm.
I especially I think I think we're just watching someone like figure out who they are in a complex world, just
Yeah.
on on blast. Like
I think
we
we're
went
watching
to
someone
no, go ahead.
I was going to say I think we're watching someone figure out who they are while also knowing and while also thinking about but what's the best business plan to do it? What are my audiences going to want? Like how does this go? Whereas I feel like because she did compare herself to Miley, I feel like when Miley did it, she was like, I don't give a fuck. You're either on board or off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas like maybe what prevents JoJo from like going fully herself is one, she probably doesn't know who herself is because who does when you're that age on top of
Mhm.
being a child star and in the spotlight? That sucks. While being clouded by like, but what would people want to see and what am I supposed to be? Like,
Mhm.
I feel like there's kind of almost like a business brain still feeding her information and like clouding her
No,
decisions.
for sure. Very much is like a part of this like conglomerate. Like
Hmm.
it was Nickelodeon, it's not now. And now I feel like Jojo Siwa just like is the business now.
Yeah,
Like is the
of Jojo
product.
Siwa,
She has her face, on her car,
which is so
which
funny.
is so wild. And she's just like, yeah. And like people on podcasts will be like, what's the deal with that? And she'll be like, we're talking about it right now, are we not?
Yeah, it's
And I'm
like,
like,
well, it's
damn,
funny.
like, okay,
Yeah.
okay. And then she goes to Big Brother.
Hmm.
So she comes out as
Yes.
a lesbian, as gay, which
Yes.
I don't know
And
if that
she's,
shocked people, but I was like, we go off Queen
yeah, go
Nickelodeon hated
off.
it.
She's dating
Um,
women. I think she was just dating a non-binary person.
yes, Kath. And
Yes.
then goes to Celebrity Big Brother. She has some beef with Mickey Rourke.
Which was hard to watch.
Wild. Yeah, so
Like, get
insane.
that man fucking out of there. So gross. She handled it very well, though.
She did. And she was asked on a podcast, they were like, would you like talk to him outside of the show? And she goes, if I saw Mickey Rourke, and this is not word for word, but it was like something like this. She was like, if I saw him like now, she's like, he probably wouldn't even know who I am. She's like, he probably wouldn't even
Probably.
recognize me. He's just like so in his own head all the time.
That's funny. Like,
And I
he's
was like,
literally just some, like, weird old guy that bumbled in there.
yeah. And she was just like, okay. So she got entangled in that. And then it looks like she fell in love
Mm-hmm.
with a straight man from Love Island,
Who's a little older than her.
10 years.
Oh, that's the age gap. 10
Yeah. She's
years.
22 and he's 32.
That's a lot when you're in your early 20s.
And
Like,
like
it's like,
she has always said, she's like, all my friends have always been older than me. Like I've always dated older. So
that's
it's
because
like
when you're a child star, you're around older
that's all you
people
got.
all the
Yeah.
time.
And like if it's truly working, that's fine. But the age gap is, I think, age gap. I don't really care that much about age gaps, but
I'm
like
pretty age gap phobic.
we can't ignore the fact that it's like not there, especially
I think
because she's so young and
Mhm.
I feel like my maturity growth from 22 to 32 was insane.
It's so significant and it's so much different from like 42 to 52, like
Yes.
because you've lived a life, but like it's science that your frontal lobe is still developing at that age, and like it's it's if you're younger than 30 dating someone older than 30 and the gap is like that significant of 10 years, that is a lifetime, and it's hard to not make it feel inherently predatory.
Yeah.
Like, not that this guy is intentionally trying to be or like I just don't know enough about it, but it's hard to see that age gap and to not immediately
Immediately be
kind of,
like,
at least for
ugh.
me, I tense up and see red flags
Yeah.
because I don't want to see the younger person, and it usually is a woman, just get so taken advantage of. Because that
Well,
happens in relationships all the time, and then when you put someone who's so much older than you when you're that young, it feels just like really nefarious.
it does. Um,
Yeah.
Nick
But I feel
Viall.
bad because she's getting a lot of
Yeah,
shit
let's talk about that. Let's talk about
for
that.
for now dating a man.
Yeah.
And it's like, bi
People are like,
people
oh,
exist.
and I'm like, oh my God, like, why are we like that was a wild pivot, I will say. I
And especially how
No
she
one
did it
saw it
on Big
coming.
Brother
Yeah,
while
no
their
one saw it
partner was
coming.
watching.
100%. No one saw it coming. She did it in front of the whole fucking world. And
Which is kind of
it's just like,
funny.
oh my God. Because it's like, I'm just trying to imagine, like, if she was straight and went in and came out and, like, fell in love with a woman on Big Brother, I feel
Yeah.
like people would be like,
Oh, she
which is,
found herself.
yeah. Whereas, like, now it's just the opposite. And it's like, okay, like, why can't we just, like, let two people be happy in love if they're truly in love?
Yeah. Age gap aside, like, it's really not a big deal that she was dating a woman, a non-binary person, and now a man.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of what dating and being bi is. And it's also like, I feel like
So being in your
this,
20s is.
as being in your 20s, go fuck and date everyone. But I also feel like there's a really funny, and I see it a lot, context of like quote unquote biphobia. Like, Caleb Heron will be like, the thing about bi girls and their boyfriends is that, like, and it's just funny, like, the ongoing joke in context of, like, bi women are always dating straight men. And that's a joke. But once you step outside that joke and, like, kind of cultural teasing that I've noticed, people are so genuinely like, no, I don't believe in bi people. You have to pick one. And it's like, what are you talking about?
That's so
Like,
weird.
it's so weird and it affects literally nothing. I think it genuinely confuses people that someone can just like all genders. And
So my question
Mhm.
is, and I'm not trying to sound ignorant, what is, because there's bi and then there's pansexual, and everyone keeps saying pansexual is that you're attracted to the spirit and the person. But if
Yeah.
there's technically, biologically,
Mhm.
you either have a penis or a vagina,
Mhm.
is that not like, how is that, how are those two different?
I've heard a couple definition of pansexual, so sometimes I get confused too. I think the short of it also just means trans people are on the table for you. And it's not that being bisexual excludes
Okay.
that. My understanding is bisexual would not exclude trans people,
Yeah,
but
that's what I thought.
pansexual makes it clear that any sort of gender identity outside of just man, woman, non-binary is on the
Mm.
table.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. And I think, but yeah, there's something about it that's like, I'm not sexually attracted to someone until I know their personality and their spirit. And
Yeah.
this is where I don't, this is where I don't, I don't know.
I don't
We
know
should have
either.
some sort of like sexuality expert on
We
and
should.
explain this to us.
We really should because I just have, yeah, I just have questions and I just want to be more understanding, honestly. And it's like, that's something that I think about from time to time where I'm like, what is the difference? Because it's like, I would consider myself straight, but I
Hmm.
love a beautiful lady, that's for sure. You know,
Yeah.
who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
Um, but I'm married to a man, so it's like that for right now, that's like where we're at. But
But it's like if one day you were to decide and figure out that you're actually bi, that's not gonna, you being married to Zach isn't gonna demolish your bi-ness.
yeah,
It's just at the moment, you're not with a woman.
yeah,
You chose a man for life in the same way that a bi person could also choose a woman for
woman for
life.
life. That's like Gabby Windy was talking where she
Hmm.
was like, they were like, "Are you a lesbian now?" And she's like, "Well, I married a woman, so like, doesn't
So
matter."
like you do the math,
She's
yeah.
like, she was like, "You could say I'm bi, you could say I'm a lesbian." She's like, "But I'm married to a woman," and I was like,
I love
"Perfect."
Gabby Windy.
I love Gabby. I
Her and Robbie are
love
just
Robbie.
so funny. So beautiful.
I'm
Such a
obsessed with
lovely
them. I'm
couple.
obsessed with them. And I've been obsessed with Gabby since she was on The Bachelor.
Me
Like
too.
I'm glad. Yes. So I followed that arc. So when she was on Traders, I was like, of
Hmm.
course, like, this is
When she was
perfect.
on Traders, I was like, she is gonna blow up, and everyone is finally gonna love Gabby Windy as much as I love Gabby Windy.
100%. And that's what happened.
That's what happened.
And then she is how I found Robbie Hoffman.
Yes.
And I am obsessed with Robbie Hoffman. She came to Raleigh and she like only gave us 2 days warning. And
Oh well.
I bought tickets. I canceled my plans. I met her. We talked about trainers.
Whoa.
Uh, and then she like was outside the. I was like standing outside the comedy club with Zach and his cousin, and she comes out, and then she just walks off by herself like a badass and gets herself home.
She's so cool. I think what's so cool about the both of them on an individual scale is like, I really don't think you could pay either of them to be someone that's not themselves.
Yes,
Like, I think they are so, at least how they portray it, and so I hope it's true in real life, just so, fuck you, this is me. Like, their
I
uniqueness,
agree.
and I love watching them flirt.
They're so
There's something
cute.
about
Yeah,
that's so sweet.
it is. It's so cute. They're freaking adorable. I'm so obsessed with them, and like I'm just so happy for them.
I hope they hear this and are like, damn, these girls really love us. What's up
Yeah,
with
Robbie Hoffman and Gabby Windy. If you guys ever want to come on the Far out hangout.
Invite's always
I
open.
would die.
I mean, I would love to meet them, but I think a huge selling point about this pod is like you don't have to leave your house. We can do
Yeah.
it on Zoom.
100%.
You can get cozy.
I'm cozy right
I mean,
now. I'm in
I'd
bed.
like to be there to like shake your hand and like,
We can meet
hang,
virtually
but
first. That's better.
yeah,
And
it's a
the
far out hangout.
It's far out.
Speaking of reality TV, oh my God, what are your Love Island predictions?
All right. It's wild because a week ago we were
Hmm.
discussing this and I was like, Paige DeSorbo is going to be, and now so much has happened.
So much has happened.
Hoda and Jeremiah are donezo, I
Broken
think.
up.
And it's
Which,
like,
mhm.
I don't have any clear thoughts right now. I'm just kind of being like, oh my God, I'm so happy it happened because it needed to happen. The toxicity was insane.
And they can
Um,
both move on. Like they've learned they're not the other's person. Go have fun with other people.
I
Like I
mean,
hope
yeah,
I don't want to see more of Huda or Jeremiah harping and heaving and hoeing over this.
yeah.
Like
And
there's,
the fact that the
mhm.
whole villa was over it too.
And you know what? I'm glad they broke up before they did Casa Amor because I think Casa Amor would have just sent Huda to another planet.
I still
Like she
think it
would
will.
not have been able to handle it.
Yeah.
I mean, it might, yeah, who
Like
knows?
the
But
thing
I
is,
hope.
like,
Mhm.
I feel like she's trying to find like her next Jeremiah. She's trying to
Yeah,
find someone else that she can like
cling to,
cling
which I
to.
get. Some people, I think, really always want someone
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
in a boyfriendy kind of way.
Yeah. I don't know. It's all just so interesting. I'm just like still
It's
like,
also interesting. What I caught on in the past week, I was very confused for a while about Ace's real passionate dislike for Jeremiah and Huda not exploring other options. I
and
was
then
kind of
keeping
like,
Jero and then keeping Huda.
yeah, I'm very confused about how Ace moves, but it wasn't until he was like, they're scamming, that I remembered, genuinely had forgot that at the end of all of this, there's money on the line.
Yeah.
Like they can win, what is it, $100,000? And it's like, if
Something
you
like that.
come if you come in and partner up with someone, you can maybe under the table have this plan of like walking away with the money together. So if you come in thinking you're going to scam and immediately get in a couple to be the couple at the end that America votes for, or however the fuck it works, I forgot that was a fucking option. And I
Have
think
you heard the rumors that Ace and Shelly knew each other like way more deeply?
I have, but I don't know how true it is because all they
Well,
said was like, "Oh, we met at a club once."
there's this video that got released online where he's on
Hmm.
Zoom with a bunch of people that he's like teaching how to dance on Zoom. And he goes, I want you guys to wish a happy Valentine's Day to my girl. Say happy
Oh,
Valentine's
I
Day,
did see
Shelly.
that. Yeah, I
And I was
wonder. I
like,
wonder if
ooh,
not a great look, but I
like
also
that's
am like,
damning
Ace
evidence.
seems, yeah, Ace seems kind of like a little bit of a cringy influencer. So I wonder if Shelly was just a follower of his and like was in the like something where it was like a shout out where like he wasn't putting a face to the name when he was saying Shelly. I don't
I don't know either.
you don't know with that.
I was like, that's
And
a
it could have been a
wild
totally different
coincidence.
Shelly.
I was like, how many? I don't know a lot of Shellys, honestly.
I
That's
don't
a
either.
wild coincidence, but that's
Yeah.
all I have right now that is maybe go like when it comes to that situation, like they are very cute together and I'm glad that they're finally
Yeah.
coupled up. They it was like this big kind of like finally and I was like, why did this take so long? And like why is this like
Yeah.
what's the drama here? Because I okay, I will say that I love Amaya.
I love Amaya.
I love Amaya, and she just
She's nuts.
deserves
But she's it's
what's
she just
happening. This poor
she's
girl.
she's such like you can her heart is so in the right place. She's so sweet. She's like so happy go lucky, but like she has big emotions. She
Yeah,
has big emotions. And it's like, Amaya, my love, take a
Amaya
breather.
Papaya.
Amaya Papaya. Like when she was when they had to vote out someone and she's like,
Don't
no,
make us do that.
why is this happening? You can't make us. I was like, Amaya,
It's
you're not
happening.
You're not voting for them to go be executed.
Imagine,
They're just off
imagine.
the island. Imagine.
No, no,
Amaya,
yeah,
here's a gun. Pick a
yeah. Shoot
pick a
them.
house member to shoot.
Yeah, it is. I'm just like, because like I was very much like fuck Ace when it came to like Amaya and Ace and him being like, don't call me babe, and like all of that. And I
Ace
was like,
moves weird. Ace
didn't
moves
love that.
weird.
Yeah,
I
very
think
weird.
I think he was clocking Jeremiah and Huda for quote unquote scamming so much because maybe that's something that was put in his head that he could do.
Yeah.
There's something about the way he
He's like
moves
pissed. He's
and
like, damn, like they're gonna win.
yeah, or like him always smizing to the camera, like,
Yeah.
and the fact that he already was kind of sort of like an influencer, even though they all had Instagram
Ew,
presence
ew.
before. I don't know. There's something I don't trust Ace
I don't
because he
trust Ace.
also he makes big egregious moves. And there was something about his pep talk to the other guys when he was like, "Listen, men, making breakfast for the ladies isn't enough anymore. We have to step it up."
I was
Maybe
like,
that was like when I get told what to do by someone who's in no authority position to tell me what to do, I get so like tense and angry. Like I
I
really
got
don't
mad.
like it. I got mad.
Yeah.
And like he could have just been fucking around and meant it lightheartedly, but I was like, I'm clocked. You feeling, I don't know. I'm on to Ace. I
I'm on to
don't.
Ace too. He's slimy in the way he moves, and I don't really like it. I really like Shelly, but like
I
and I'm
love
happy that
Shelly.
she's happy, but like I just don't feel good about Ace.
I don't either, but also I think Shelly's been so smart and emotionally intelligent that if there is something more glaring with Ace, she'll figure it out. And she's such a catch. She can get literally whoever she wants. I'm not worried about Shelly.
No, no, me
She'll
either.
she'll find the love of her life.
He will. And then Alandria and Taylor. What'd you think of the twerking dude? That Megan the Stallion episode was my favorite of all time.
I love Megan the Stallion.
That was perfect.
It
To
was
watch
perfect.
them twerk, I've been waiting to see Alandria twerk, obviously. Her ass is out of
Yeah,
this world
huge.
and
It's
so perfect.
I think it was funny to see the guys try to be uh like sexy in a way that's like club dance floor
Yeah,
twerking sexy and it's like, "Oh, men don't know how to move their hips."
no. Especially
This
Austin,
is
that was wild.
interesting. I do love Austin.
I
Austin makes me
love
laugh.
Austin.
I recently learned though that he is a bit Trumpy.
That is the vibe I get from him.
Mhm.
Um, which I don't love for Amaya because like I love them together, but like I don't see someone was like, "Oh, like she wants her kids to speak Spanish and Austin's a Trumper."
Mm.
Not that those two
Interesting.
things can't go hand in hand, but
Yeah, he could be like, whatever, that'd be great if my kids speak Spanish. You never know. But uh yeah, the show, and it makes sense because all of America's watching, doesn't go into politics at all. I'm sure they're having side conversations about more
you would
of their
hope.
like valuable beliefs. But I I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know. And
It's
then
hard. I think it's just hard to watch reality TV specifically in 2025 and not bring politics into it because it's like, oh my God, I love that person. I hope they end up together. Did they vote the same?
right?
Like what? Like because you don't see those conversations, and rightfully so. We need a fucking break from them all. Um, just makes me curious.
Makes me curious too. I'm
Yeah.
very curious. Um, and then so as of now,
Hmm.
three couples that we're aware of have had sex.
Really?
So Huda and Jeremiah had
Put in
sex.
Jeremiah,
Sierra and Nick,
Sierra, and Nick. Okay.
and then Hannah
Oh,
and Pepe
cute.
was it was very they didn't say it, but it was very obvious that
Very obvious.
did you see it that clip?
No, but I was talking to a friend last night. Didn't she like spit in her hand
Yeah.
and like
And it was like
good for
under
her.
the covers, and it was like spooning. He was thrusting. It was just like
Yeah.
What else are you doing down there, honestly?
And it's like, look, you got to do what you got to do, but there is some of
Yeah.
those more vulnerable moments that I'm like, oh, it sucks that Love Island would show that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like,
Like,
Hannah
I
and
don't think
Pepe didn't even say anything, but we can gather that they
assume.
did it because they, in the dark, when everyone was sleeping, and they thought that they were like good to
Yeah.
go. They had
And I
privacy.
get that and I get that that's a huge part of the show. Like this is our sex positive show all kinky ass show. But it was the thing of her, and I guess I'm contradicting myself by highlighting it again now, but there was a thing of her spitting into her hand, and the choice for them to air that just felt
And then not
invasive.
having her announce it on camera. Like we saw Huda
Yeah.
and Jeremiah do it, like and then next scene Huda tells them.
Yeah.
You see the illusion of Nick and Sierra, and then the next scene she tells the girls. And so
Hmm.
it's like, and then Nick tells Ace and like all of that. But this is like the one where it's like no one's talked about it, no one said it, but it's very obvious what happened, and that's the thing that kind of feels a little dirty and slimy to me.
Yeah, they should have allowed her or him to like tell their friends like, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we did have sex."
And yeah, and just be like whatever. But
Yeah.
that wasn't the case. So I was like, I didn't love that, but I will say like it was I was surprised it took this long for people to start having sex because I'm
Mm.
like, why not? Why would you not? Like if you're like in this situation, but I will say that like that does add, especially like Nick and someone like Nick and Sierra, like Huda and Jeremiah had sex and then they fell apart, and that's probably something that like
Yeah.
Huda is probably like really shook by. Like
Yeah.
she's probably like, what? But we did it. Like how and now it's like it adds another layer of like, okay,
It
like
does.
you
Cuz
guys have
sex
been
can mean
together.
so much to someone and so little to someone else.
Yeah.
Like you
And it's
just don't
like,
know.
especially when you're in a couple for like Nick and Sarah, they've been in a couple for like almost since like what, like day 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And they've been like consistently each other's tops, consistently flirting, and then they finally do it. And now there's two bombshells that like each other that they're both interested in. And it's like,
Mhm.
okay, like if you're both into it, that's fine. But like I just hope that someone's not like, because it is, I feel like in Love Island, having sex is, you might as well be closed off. Like you should probably wait to
Yeah.
be closed off until you have sex, honestly.
Yeah, just cuz you're so intimately around other people that you're not coupled up with,
Yeah.
like it's such a scenario where like the rules that I think you would normally abide by out and about kind of change.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
The
Because
rules
it's
of
like you
Love
then have
Island
to
are
go
insane.
date other people in front of the person you just fucked.
Yeah.
Like literally in front of them, which would kind of be my
That would,
nightmare.
yeah. And we have Costa coming up, I believe, tomorrow.
Oh, really? Whoa, 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 whoa.
That's the tea. And Ariana said on After Sun that the girls leave this time.
Good. Get them
Yeah,
out of there. Let
that's
them
what
have
I
their
said.
fun.
I was
Who do
like,
you think, out of all the couples now, which one do you think is most likely to make it to the end?
that's interesting. I want Alandria and Taylor to make it. I don't know if
Me
they will.
too.
I want. The thing is, it's like I love Sierra and I love Nick.
I do too.
I don't know if I love them as a couple.
I don't know either because it also seems like Nick is starting to get a little bit of a wandering eye, but he is also openly being
But
like,
so is
"Oh, I do
she.
really like her." Yeah, yeah,
So, and it's just like I love like we just had to do a vote. Like I did you like there was like America. We just voted on our two favorite
Oh yeah, who
Islanders,
did you vote for your favorite?
Sierra and Nick. Just because individually, I think that those two are like I just relate the most to Sierra. Like
Yeah,
everything she says, I think is funny. The way she approached like the Huda situation, she talked to Huda, I
yeah.
thought was good. And I was like, okay,
Hmm.
genuinely like I love all the girls, obviously, but I just genuinely feel like I vibe the most with Sierra.
Like you would be a homie with
A
Sierra.
hundred, yeah, for sure. But like I also, but I was torn because obviously I'm a sucker for Alandria and then
I
Amaya.
voted for Alandria.
Yeah, I mean, I very much. I was like, I believe that she will be very high up there, if not America's
I
number
think
one.
so. I
And
voted
that,
for Alandria because I respect her ability to say like the uncomfortable and the hard
yeah,
thing
hmm
when it's like you're saying it to a friend and someone you love.
yeah,
Like she openly to Huda was kind of like, you know, maybe this isn't working out.
yeah.
Like you shouldn't have to put all your eggs in this
She
basket
did
and
call
she
all that
did.
bullshit early, which was very
Hmm.
impressive. What guy did you vote for?
It was before I knew he was a little Trumpy, but I do love Austin.
I love Austin too.
He,
I
I
love
think, is so. At first, I wasn't sure about him. I think he's so, so funny. And I think he
him
does.
during the
Mhm.
twerking challenge where he was all like slapping his own ass. Like
Ooh.
I was like, dude, this is wild. But the fact that he was just willing to commit to it and have a good
Yeah,
time was hilarious.
it was. I think he's a funny dude, but I think he's a little bit of an airhead, and I think that's part of his charm. I think that's like there's something I don't know. I think I find it very endearing about him, but I don't know how far right he sways where I'm like, oh, maybe this endearingness goes into like real ignorance as
Yeah,
opposed to just like I voted for tax reasons. You
yeah,
know, who
for
knows?
sure.
Who knows? And
Yeah,
I really want to
he
put
is
the
from
political
Michigan.
aspect out of my head. Like I
Yeah,
just want to enjoy Love Island as people. But once you learn something about someone who's on reality TV on social media about their values that doesn't align with yours, like I don't want to be on a high horse about it, but it starts to like skew my opinion of them.
yeah,
And I don't want that. I
it's a
don't. I
bummer.
wish
It
I
is.
just did it because it's not their job to be politicians. They're on
Yeah,
fucking Love Island. It's not their job to educate us or to for us to educate them, fucking whatever. So it's like I wish I didn't know these things about these people. I just want to see them have fun and date on Love Island. But politics comes in, and I mean, yes, I'm being kind of a hypocrite and ironic, I guess, by bringing politics into our conversation about it by saying I'm kind of over it.
but
So it's
I mean, it's
confusing.
a very, important thing. There's a lot of shit happening right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of heavy stuff happening right now.
Heavy. I hate
Heavy,
living
heavy, dark and heavy.
history.
And like that's why hold on, I just reposted something on Instagram where it was like, what did it say? It says watching Love Island USA for an hour every night is like microdosing on ignorance to hint momentary bliss.
Microdosing on ignorance. Huh.
And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
I don't really
I
see
was like,
how when this show is so not political.
it's just like, yeah, exactly. It's just
But
like,
it's just like, like there's people from the South, like there's really all walks of life on the show.
and it's just like
Um,
I tune in to escape. I tune
mhm.
in to unplug, and I
Yes.
tune in to just. I don't want to say be ignorant because I'm like ignorance is a term I'm not trying to fuck with, but like I turn I tune in to like kind of just like literally like turn
Mhm.
my mind off
Yeah.
for some
And
bliss.
I think, look, we're so privileged. I think it's okay that we take an hour every night
Yeah,
to make an opinion on someone that has nothing to fucking do with their opinions on other things.
so true. So true.
I mean, I hope.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how the rest of Love Island unfolds because we do have a lot coming up. We obviously
A lot.
it looks like the vote is going to be like whoever's the least voted for is going home.
Yeah.
And I would be really bummed if both Huda and Jeremiah went home.
Me too. I want Huda to meet someone else that she's super into
Yeah.
and is super into her.
Because she's a catch. And it's just like, I just forgot she was just like kind of annoying and toxic there for a second.
But
But
so
I
is
was like,
he.
I have to say,
He
like,
was also kind of annoying.
I have to say that I could never be on Love Island.
Me
I
neither.
could never be on TV because who's to say I wouldn't react very similar as to, and
Yeah, who's to say?
everyone being like, whoa, what the fuck? But it's just kind of
Especially
like,
at that age.
yeah, I'm just like, I'm like, okay, she is being toxic for sure, but like, this is just what's This is just the name of the game these days.
And it's also like
And
if I'm
why are we
placed,
acting like she's crucifying him? Like she's having emotions in this very emotional
Mhm.
place.
Yeah, it's so emotional. Everything has to happen in front of your face, and
She
it's
lived
like
with him. She's watching him talk to someone else. Like
he kind of loved bombed her. And also, he's fucking beautiful. Of
he's
course, you're gonna want
so
to lock that
beautiful.
down. You see him do one thing wrong, and you're someone who has like a heightened sensitivity. You're gonna say something,
Yeah.
and you're gonna get anxious. I think she's like a very anxiously attached person, and I would be too if someone that hot and I'm on a dating show and I'm constantly around them and they're constantly telling me, "Oh, I like you so much," and this, and this, and we're having these big conversations. Like those, that 1 week is gonna feel longer than it actually is, and it's gonna feel more significant than it is.
Yeah. And I was like, I just don't think I would be able to, because even if I went in being like, don't do this, Mary, like you just are
Hmm.
so wound
Who
up.
knows?
You get caught up in, I was like, I can't say I wouldn't react the same. So I'm so thankful that I'm not on Love Island because
Yeah,
yikes.
I'm so team. Let's give Huda a redemption arc. Let's let her
Yeah.
let's let her find her way and
I
root for
hope someone
her.
I like just hope someone comes in because TJ obviously came in and like he
Hmm.
has his eye on a million people. I want someone to come in to focus on Huda and so that like Jeremiah can explore and not have her freak out.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it
But maybe
was
we'll see that tonight.
that would be dude, I'm so excited. I can't wait. The it should be out like in the next 20 minutes.
Yeah. Ugh, I have to go get drinks and then I'm gonna come home and watch
Oh,
it.
where are you going?
Some taco place by me. It's with a girl who I used to work with. We're doing some networking drinks.
That's cute. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Not a fun date. Nothing juicy. Nothing new to report in my love life.
Well, you had a very juicy report last week. That's a lot. Your
Oh,
mail to
that
do.
freak on Hinge.
Yeah.
That also all happened just within like 10 minutes. I was like, that was like a 10-minute incident of that crazy guy being
So
like,
wild. I like still can't believe it. And that people go to these lengths. It's just like, but that's why we have Love Island is people being like, oh, I can't find love, so I have to go on TV. And to know that people are out there that have those smarts and are using it mad scientisty, like,
intelligence for evil. Catfishes are kind of like mad scientists.
yeah,
It's a whole
that's a
social
hot take.
experiment. We got to get Neve and Max on the pod for
Don't send it to me. I would
Catfish.
die. I would love to have
I
Nebo.
would love to have them on the
Oh my
pod.
God. I want to break down that episode that most iconic episode where um the cousin catfished because he called her a fat Kelly Price. We've come this far. I was like, we have MTV out here. We're at somebody random person's house about to knock on their door, and you're like, it was me.
It was me. It's just someone who's so scorned by one comment. Oh my God.
Oh, that was TV.
So
That was
funny.
gold.
Catfish has a lot of peak TV. Oh my God.
They really do. Like that was some good shit. So
Good shit.
I think we should reach out to Max and Eve. We should and just
I think we
have
should
people
too.
to know there. And it's still going, like which is so wild.
It's still going. Max isn't on it anymore.
Yeah.
But I do like the woman, I forget her name, that Neve does host with now.
Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah, no, they're like that can't be an easy gig either.
No. A
Um,
lot of emotional roller coasters you get pulled onto. I was gonna say, what a noble steed. I didn't
yeah.
realize the bravery Neve had. Well, I guess he has to be pretty brave to go up to strangers' homes and be like, hey, why were you catfishing this person? Like, I wonder if he's ever had a gun pulled on
Pulled on
him.
him. That's what I was wondering too.
Yeah.
I was like
Yeah.
that would be I would love to know that.
I
Um,
mean, he must have, because I bet MTV can't show anything. Who knows? Who knows?
who knows? Who knows? Maybe not, but I feel like for
Maybe
sure.
not. I'm gonna research that and maybe come back next week with a fun catfish fact.
That's a good one. I love it.
Loves it.
So last week I asked you what was your last meal going to
Last
be?
meal.
My question today is, oh God, wait, did you see this? That Ace, oh God, I think it was an After Sun actually exclusive where Ace asked Iris like if you could like have dinner with any celebrity, who would it be?
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Oh, alive or dead?" He was like, "Well, they would have to be alive. What do you mean?" And so she was like, "Okay." She was like, "Brad Pitt." She's like, "What about you?" He goes, "Jesus Christ." She goes,
Boo.
"Don't they need to be alive?" He goes, "Oh, but he is alive." And I was like, "Ah."
Ace. Come on, man.
I was like, "Oh
Also, if you're that religious, great, but that's not a fun answer.
no!" Like, come
Give
on now.
we don't want your
We
moral high
just shat
compass
on the girl
answer.
for asking alive or dead, and we all know Jesus is dead.
Jesus is dead.
He
They
rises,
he came
depending on what you
back,
think. He
but
came
he
back.
didn't come back as a human.
Mm-mm.
Also, yeah, don't shit on her for asking that very valid question because it's not like then he's gonna go set her up with Brad Pitt. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you have to pick an alive person because blah, blah, blah. Like,
So I can go grab him for you. No.
get fucked.
Yeah, seriously. Like, get absolutely fucked. No way. Fucking hate that. But
Wait,
okay.
I have an answer for you, and
Yeah.
you are actually not going to believe this story, Mary. I swear to God, this happened.
I'm
I'm
dying.
at
Okay.
I'm at the dentist this week to
Okay.
get my Invisalign. I'm waiting in the waiting room. These two girls come in. One sits down, one goes to check in. She's like, "Oh, I'm so and so. Is it okay if my she goes bestie. She goes, "Is it okay if my bestie sits here while I wait in?" I'm like, "Okay, this is a quirky girl." I look over to the girl sitting, waiting for her friend. It's Amanda Bynes. The way, Mary, I love Amanda Bynes so
She's
deeply,
not doing well right now.
so wholeheartedly. She looked well for
Okay.
my I mean, granted, I'm just sitting with her in a lobby.
She
It's
has the
very
like
clear.
tattoos on her
She
face.
has the tattoo. She has the heart tattoo under her eye. She's sitting there. We make eye contact to give like a little awkward smile. I think she could tell I knew who she was, but I didn't want to say anything. But it was the only time I've been around a celebrity and been so tempted to just be like, hey, I don't want to bother you, but like, I look up to you so greatly and so like wholeheartedly and deeply. But like, that would make anyone uncomfortable. So I didn't. But that's all to say, if I had the chance to have a dinner with Amanda Bynes, I would be so grateful, like so happy. Like she was such an idol for me growing
Yeah.
up. She's
You're
so,
just
oh
sitting
my
next
God.
to Amanda Bynes, and and then Amanda Bynes just sits there while her bestie gets work done.
Yeah, I got called in like 2 minutes later. Like we were just like the three of us were just sitting in the waiting room. They were like making plans for whatever they were doing after. And then and then later I saw a TikTok of these two girls at this like outdoor brunch spot in Hollywood and they were like and they're crying and they're like, we just saw Amanda Bynes. We told her we loved her. Like she's doing so well. We didn't want to put her on camera. And I was like, oh my God, like it really was her. We all had an Amanda Bynes. Amanda Bynes had an outing today and people saw her and wished her
Oh
well.
my God.
I
I
know.
really, yeah, because she was everything. Dude, she was
Everything.
so talented. She
Hmm.
was everyone's dream friend, dream girl, dream job, dream everything.
Dream
I loved
job.
her
Like
so
I
much.
want to be her when I grow up. I
Yeah.
want to be as funny as her. Like it's cool to be the funny weird girl.
Yes.
Like she
Yes.
made everything she did look cool as fuck.
Hmm. And I am devastated that she went down this path, but I'm thrilled to hear that she's doing well.
Yeah.
That's good because
She's
the
an
media is
artist
not
now.
portraying her well.
No, the media is so mean to her. And also, it's like she clearly suffered trauma as a child star. So it's like, stop putting the paparazzi in her face. Like, stop making these awful assumptions. The media is so, I mean, she's not the only one the media's ever been cruel to, but like, knowing what she's gone through and seeing the media still bash her is like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Amanda Bynes should be so protected. She's now an artist and sometimes she does like art shows in LA, but I haven't she did one like over Christmas and I wasn't able to go to it, but yeah, I mean, seeing her in person, I genuinely felt so torn to say something or not, but I ended up deciding not to because I didn't want to make her more uncomfortable.
Yeah. Damn. Wow, that's a good story. I feel like I can't, there's no way I can top that at all. That's
Well,
wild.
who would you get dinner with?
Oh my God. See, the layered, this is very layered because
Hmm.
for almost a decade, my answer would be Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah.
Um,
I honestly,
and I'm
I
still
don't
curious. I still have some questions.
I don't judge that answer if you still want it to be Ellen. Finding out that she was a bitch, I think is so funny.
It is just like the thing is, it's like I think there was an added layer to it because she was the be kind chick. You know, she was like the
Yeah.
be kind to 100.
Hilarious. But it's
Um,
like, did people not think she was a human?
right?
Like, did you really think she never had a hardship and was a bitch about it? I
That's
mean,
and
granted, her hardship shouldn't be the everyday things at work, but like, what do you think? She's still going into work every day. People have bad days.
yeah.
And I don't know the extent of this verbal abuse she did, if it was beyond her having bad days or whatever, but I think it's so funny that she's a fucking bitch. I think it's so hilarious.
And
Like,
she had to move to England.
yeah.
But
Which
she
is,
got canceled before and she's come back from that. So
yeah, I don't know. I think you should get dinner with Ellen because I think she would open up to you and you would get a real
I would love
sense
that.
of who she is.
Ellen was my idol
Yeah.
for years, like years
Mhm.
and years and years and years. And then like Portia's book, Unbearable Lightness, got me through my eating disorder.
Oh,
And I
wow.
was just like them as a couple, like I loved every single thing about them. And so I tried to like kind of turn a blind eye, but then I was like, I can't ignore this. But and then I was like watched her stand up and like I think she's still so funny, but
Yeah.
um
I mean,
that
two
was a
things
tough
can
one.
be true. Like, you should get dinner. I want to make these plans for you. You should get dinner with Ellen and Portia. Have a time.
I would die.
Like, that would be like, why not? Like, two things can be true. These they can be, well, Ellen can be this canceled person, but it's like she brought you so much joy for so
For
long,
so long, for so
opened your
long.
eyes to things that it's like, and her wife, as you just said, wrote things that helped you through your eating disorder. Like, get that dinner.
I would,
Let's get
yeah.
it on the books.
Let's get it on the books. Ellen
I can't
DeGeneres.
imagine. I can't imagine a lot of people are asking them out to dinner these
Ellen
days. So
Lee
you might have a
DeGeneres.
good shot.
I read her mom Betty's book. And her.
Whoa.
I know. Like I love her mom. I've read all of her books. I've read of all of Ellen's books. Ellen Lee DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi, big fans. I'll take you guys out to dinner.
I was gonna say, will you have them pay or should you?
I will offer. I think the pay gap,
Mhm.
like like I can cover a whatever dinner for sure,
Yeah.
but
Go to that barbecue place that you guys had cater your wedding.
perfect.
Yeah,
Or what,
that was
I'll
good
just fly.
food.
If it's easier, I'll come to London. I'll come to
Yeah, yeah,
London,
yeah,
and we'll get some
yeah, yeah.
Indian food because obviously
Oh,
London
it's
is
so good in
Indian food.
London.
It's so good. So, at Ellen DeGeneres and at Portia de Rossi, I'll let me know the time and I'll meet you there. I would die.
I'm gonna find an email for them and
Let's get
have you
this
send them an
viral. Let's get
email.
this viral, okay?
Yes. Oh, dude, if it was 2009, if this went viral, it could land us on
On
Ellen.
Ellen. Stop. I can't tell you like the amount of times that I was like, I recorded myself after I got my wisdom teeth out, and I
Hmm.
like put it on YouTube, and I like just only tagged Ellen. I only tagged Ellen. I literally was just like hashtag Ellen at Ellen DeGeneres. Like I was like, I just want Ellen to see this.
I mean, that used to be all it took. Like, if you had one
Yeah,
hit on YouTube, like, she'd bring you on.
I
She'd be
know.
like, and this is the girl. Do you remember she brought on the girl that accidentally burned her hair off with a curling iron?
Yes. And then there
That's
was
all it took to be on Ellen.
she there was someone who like fell off or like fell through the runway at a fashion show.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, dude, and I'll never get that because America, I do have a quick hot take on cancel culture because I was talking with Zach, my husband, about it, and how I think society is like cancel culture is like too harsh on the individual when it's like, why are we not looking at the way society was back then? It's
Hmm.
like these people, most of the people who are getting canceled, I assume, obviously for the littler shit,
Mm-hmm.
are not bad people. It's just our society was so uninformed and lackadaisical. Like,
Yeah.
the office would not fly these days.
So you mean like something getting canceled that happened like 10 years
Yeah. So
ago?
like somebody like like people digging up shit and being like 10 years ago you said this
Yeah.
or tweeted this, and it's like, yeah, that's not right. They never should have done that. But like
That's not
society,
who I am anymore.
it's not exactly, but it's also like society, like that wasn't like a faux pas back then as it
Right.
is
Like people
now.
could
We've
say,
evolved, and like I
hmm
think we need to understand that like people, like society has evolved as well, and it's just like, so when someone tweets something 15 years ago and you're like, how dare you? It's like, yeah, like obviously they wouldn't have said that if today, if they were
hmm
new, like, the culture and like the community and like what the world is going through. Back then it wasn't. It was funny. People thought it was funny. Society
agreed.
back then was lackadaisical and uninformed. And so I feel like
hmm
we just need to be more aware of, instead of canceling individual people, be like, we need to kind of, everyone needs to learn for sure from these mistakes.
hmm
But I just think we need to be a little bit more aware that like society back then was just like not chill. Like, have you seen that um commercial that's floating around that like they aired in Germany about the Chinese food commercial?
No.
Where like it's a bunch of Germans eating like microwavable Chinese food, and as they eat it, they become more and more Asian.
Okay.
Like they
When
turn
did this
Asian
commercial come out?
in like the 80s.
Oh, so it's like,
So like, but like right now, like I watched it being like that,
mhm.
but back
Right.
then they wouldn't have made it if they didn't think it was gonna hit.
Right.
And
Like it's
like,
never not racist. Like that is a racist thing.
thing,
But
yeah,
society in the 80s
nobody knew that. No one was
was more
thinking about that.
racist.
Yeah,
Right. Was more racist. That would never get made today, and rightfully
never.
so. Like, of course it shouldn't have been made then, but society in the 80s was more racist against Asians.
And it's just like society in general, like we as a society are learning and growing, and like
hmm
again, like people need to learn and grow and understand the things and the actions that they once did and said
hmm
were wrong. But again, canceling someone for something they did many, many years ago,
Especially if they've now come out and been like, "Oh, I don't think that
sorry,
anymore.
I don't
I'm
think that
sorry."
anymore. Like, like the
hmm
world has changed. We've together as a society moved and learned and grown and educated, because like again, like The Office would never get made today. There's so many,
No.
like the third episode of The Office where he's like makes them all wear like an identity on their forehead, and he's like talking to the
hmm
person, and I'm like, what the, like I'm like, there's so many unchill things that like we just were like, LOL.
Yeah, like we just no one was having conversations about why that's harmful then. And now these conversations are
These are happening
happening. So
finally.
it's like people got to keep up.
People do have to keep up, but I think we just need to like we need to be less harsh on the individuals and like more being like, okay, that was then. If you're learning now, that's
Right.
good. But like,
And like I just think situationally people can be met with some grace.
yeah,
Yeah.
situationally, absolutely. I'm not out here
Situationally.
trying to be like, pardon like Bill Cosby or Harvey Weinstein, because fuck
Fuck
them.
no.
But like,
You're just trying to pardon like comedians saying the R word in 2005 when we were all
right,
saying
when we
it,
were all saying it,
which
and
it wasn't good,
it
but
wasn't chill then,
we've
and it's like,
learned.
but it's just like we didn't know any better as a
Yeah.
society. I didn't,
Right.
that was just a slang word everyone was using. So it's like, what slang words are we using now that are going to get us in trouble in the future? I don't know. And I hope we're all learning and growing, but it's so weird. It's just so hard. It's such a weird angle to come from. And
Yeah.
with this whole
Yeah.
culture happening.
Agreed. Agreed.
So yeah, that's my little hot take.
No, that was a good hot take, and I think it's applicable to Ellen because,
Ellen.
okay, she was a bitch. Everyone's talking about how Jimmy Fallon's an asshole. Like
It's
big
from Ellen
articles
did
came out
some
about
good.
that.
No, like she did
But
a
I'm
lot of
also like,
good.
she did a lot of good, and I'm also kind of like, there's being an asshole and there's creating an abusive work environment. No one should create an abusive work environment, obviously. I don't know enough about the Ellen situation to know how abusive the work environment she was
Yeah, I don't
creating
either.
was. But the fact that she was kind of a bitch, let her be. Who the fuck isn't a bitch? I've heard countless stories of these celebrities, actors, talk show hosts that are human and sometimes they fucking suck.
Hmm.
That's life.
That is life. Say la vie.
Say la vie. All right. So dinner with Ellen. We'll get that on the books.
Great.
I'll give Amanda Byne some peace because I think she wants it. But if she wants to reach out to me, Amanda, I'm here.
Yes. Amanda, yes.
Amanda, I love you. I swear I'll be cool and chill at our dinner.
Just like you were at the dentist.
Just like I was at the dentist. You
Yeah,
didn't
you've
even know
already
I was
met.
freaking
You've
out
already met.
inside. We
You're
go way
good.
back. We
Yeah,
have history.
perfect.
Amanda.
I can't. Okay, perfect.
Okay, till our next
Till
FOHO.
our next FOHO.
Love ya.
Bye, XOXO. FOHO.